Welcome, everyone. How are you? Do you have a good morning? Everyone is still up for something different, because right now we are not going to talk about charts or indicators. We are going to talk about mindset, so something different. And before we start, I want to thank you, David, of course, and Anka for inviting me again to present this year. And this is actually my third year presenting next to all the successful women in the industry. And I'm always so grateful for getting this opportunity so that I can share my knowledge, my experience with other traders, and hoping that what I share can maybe help just a little bit to make your trading journey to be easier, with some less hurdles that I went through and that I know a lot of traders are going through, and definitely with more consistent results. So I'm going to share my screen, and I see you found the chat, so that's awesome. And during the presentation, feel free to interact with me on the chat as well. This one. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, so some disclaimer, even though we are not going to talk about indicators just now, this is purely for educational purposes. All right. So after working with traders who struggle with consistency for the last 6 years, I have learned that they all have one thing in common. They come into trading with completely unrealistic expectations and completely unprepared. And when I say unprepared, I mean not knowing what it really takes to become a successful trader. A trader that not only makes money on a consistent basis, but also a trader who can keep balance between trading and their private life, whose well-being is not impacted negatively by negative trading results. Someone who is resilient and confident and who is accepting of himself truly, and not punishing himself for mistakes that in trading happen every single day. Before I came to trading, I was completely unprepared. And before I became the trader that I am right now, I was very opportunistic. And I was convinced that this is going to be easy. I saw the light, like you see on the screen, as it was like the door opened, and like, oh my God, there's this huge potential. There is this new reality that I have not heard of before, knowing that, you know, the regular way of making money is you get a job or you get paid per hour. It was very different, right? In trading, there was this huge potential that I could make money off and I could grow, and it was basically endless. It was infinite potential. That was a world that I didn't know before. And I know that most people have never even heard of trading before they got into trading. Maybe some, you know, something about trading is gambling, right? But what it actually takes to be a trader that can come every day and trade with consistent profit, that's a very different story. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into and how that would change my life. And I really have hit the same walls over and over again for 2 years straight. And I was really starting to believe that I was stupid. Even though that I had a lot of success in my life before trading, I had successful businesses, I had a fantastic career in the corporate world, trading really beat me up to the point that I was hesitating about myself a lot. I have ended up at square one so many times that I really questioned whether I would ever get out of that maze, whether there was even other side to get out at. Was I ever able to solve that puzzle? And I have gotten so lost so many times that I really questioned, why am I doing this for? I was telling myself, what is wrong with me? Because I was losing money, I was losing confidence, my health, my sanity, and I still did not want to give up. But I have to tell you that going through that maze and finding the way, even though it was the hardest journey that I went on in my life, it was also the most rewarding experience. And it is still bringing a smile on my face every single day. And today I'm excited to share with you the key principles that helped me and my coaching clients get through it and come out on the other side successfully, achieving consistency in their trading results and also finding the confidence in themselves that is really needed to solve this puzzle. So my name is Agnieszka Wood, and the reason that I am here today is because I know that some of you might be stuck in that maze, trying to figure out which way to go. Or maybe you have just entered the maze. In that case, I hope my message will help you find a way to get through it with less pain and that you don't get lost. Just a brief introduction for those of you who see me for the first time. I was born and raised in Poland, and I left my country at the age of 22. So I was living abroad, actually longer than in Poland. And I also lived in the Netherlands, and now I'm living in the US, Florida. So I have been changing a lot in my life and going through major changes. Nothing comparing to changes that I had to go through trading. I'm also a trading mindset coach and CEO and founder of a head coach, and I trade. I'm a day trader, I'm a swing trader, so I do both. I trade equities, and I have been doing that for over 10 years, very close to 15 years almost, actively being involved in the market every day. I help traders develop compassionate discipline so that they can follow their trading plan with patience and confidence and become consistent and profitable traders. And I could spend another presentation telling you about compassionate discipline, but today we are going to talk about a part of it. Basically, I combined all the powerful methods that I have studied throughout my life, like neuro-linguistic programming, mind, body, and energy integration, neuroscience principles, and I combined it all, different modalities, to provide a really holistic and personalized approach to help traders overcome mental blocks and hurdles and implement new behavioral patterns so that they can achieve their goals in trading, but also in life, and experience lasting transformation. And that part of lasting is important because in trading, as you might have noticed in your own experience, it's not really difficult to make money. It's the keeping part, keeping the money you made. So you really want to have consistency, and changes that you make, have them last so you can build on that and create something that you can rely on long term. Very soon after, I got caught in this emotional chaos of trading and being really overwhelmed by this constant search for right strategy, stuck in a loop of, ups and downs, and consistently questioning myself, but hoping really that one day I will succeed. There will be this one day that I will finally make it. So when you are at the point where you're feeling lost and you really struggle with that uncertainty of when is this going to happen, and why is it so hard to be in this, to actually make it happen? First of all, this is very normal for most traders. But today I'm going to show you a different perspective that might help you to actually see the light on the other side of the tunnel. So the way to get through that maze. And I will share with you the 3 critical forces of something that I call trading triangle. And this triangle that traps you in the same way as the Bermuda Triangle, if you have heard of it. It's the mysterious area located in the Atlantic Ocean between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. And that region is very famous for capturing sort of the ability to lead the ships and even planes, of course. And it has been linked to the unexplained disappearances of vessels and aircrafts over the years. And just like that Bermuda Triangle, a lot of times traders find themselves stuck in the triangle and sometimes never even come back from that or be there for many, many years. So this triangle traps you in the cycle that impacts your trading journey. And I will show you how these forces that keep you in the triangle cause you confusion, frustration, and uncertainty, and how, what's even more important, how you can equip yourself to navigate through the triangle. The first force that I want to talk about is the freedom. Freedom, you might be surprised, because freedom is something that most traders get into trading to achieve freedom, right? This is that freedom that helps you to make your own decisions. That not helps you, but the freedom that you want to make your own decisions. A lot of times I hear traders saying, yeah, and I have the job and I hate my job and I want to get rid of it. I don't want to have a boss. I want to decide what I do. I want to be in charge of my decisions, what I do with my time, what I do with my money, what I do with my life, basically. So this might come as a surprise to you that exactly that freedom is the freedom that stands in your way many times in trading. Because that's the freedom of choices, right? Choices, making decisions. There's so many different elements you can decide about. And you need to be well equipped to be able to handle that. It's a very powerful force. That's why usually when we, in our daily life, in our work, we always have some kind of rules, because freedom without rules is anarchy and things get out of hand. In trading, when you have too much freedom and you don't have the rules, or if you don't obey the rules, you get out of hand, right? You probably have noticed that it's not so easy to actually handle that freedom, because it can become overwhelming very quickly. There are so many tools that you have that are available for you as a trader, for analysis, for execution, for tracking trades. You have a lot of different strategies, like different approaches and methods that tell you this is the way to make money, and one is better than the other, and then there's the next one and the next one, and there's so much. There's so many conflicting priorities, so many different values and people to listen to, and there is this desire, you want to make money quickly, but there's also the need to follow your rules and take it easy because it's about consistency. There is so many different focuses that you need to consider in your choices. And there's also a lot of advice what to do. And how do you know which one is right? Everyone has its own opinion, just about strategy, about indicators, about pretty much anything, that where the market is going. And you are in there just trying to follow it all and make sense out of this. Maybe you have even different mentors. You're listening to different people, you're listening to different news, and everyone has conflicting views on trading approach. Just think about how often you get pulled in every direction and you are trying to decide which approach is right. Should I go in? Should I go out? Should I stay? Like, what is it that what is the right decision? Looking for that right choice. And it's very distracting because it almost seems like you are always trying to find that holy grail. You're looking for that solution outside yourself that will deliver you the result. And you start listening to other people, but as many people, that many opinions, and you are, instead of looking inside, what is the thing that is the best suited for you? Because in the end, you wanted that freedom, right? You want to be able to decide. So finding that solution that is good for you, especially when you are struggling, it's not an easy thing to do because you are looking for help and you are automatically looking outside. So that freedom, that pull away from you, like where you can feel confident about your decisions, it's not easy because you are looking for the advice from outside to try to make you feel confident from inside, if that makes sense. The second force is external chaos. And this is the market environment, which I like to refer to as your working conditions, right? When you are looking for a job somewhere, you always look, okay, where am I going to be working? What are the conditions? Is there any equipment, depending on the job? It's like, is there any equipment I'm going to be needing for my job? Is there, like, how does the office look like? Is this something, that I can physically handle or emotionally or mentally? But in trading, we also have working conditions. And those conditions are not the easiest working conditions you might choose, right? It's like you are willingly exposing yourself to pretty harsh conditions, which is risk, constant risk, uncertainty, and unpredictability. Risk is constant in trading because the market is unpredictable. So even if you prepare, there's always possibility of loss. It's a probability game, so you just never know what the outcome will be. Every trade involves a certain risk, and uncertainty plays a huge role in that risk. So you can never be sure about how the market is going to react. There might be an economic event, there might be some kind of report coming out, and it's impossible for you to predict it before that happens. And even after it happens, it might not make any sense because you might think the report was good, but then the sentiment is negative and the price is doing completely something else. There is a lot of stress that is connected to that uncertainty. So when you lack certainty, the next thing is that what we naturally do is we are looking for this external point of reference just to make ourselves feel more comfortable because we don't like the discomfort. So we will always look for solutions that to decrease that discomfort. And in our daily lives, we do a lot of different things. We want safety, security, we want to control, right? So we have some tools like, for example, insurances that help us to cover ourselves in case something might happen. Now, in the market, we don't have insurance. Nobody's going to give you money back. If you say, yeah, but I didn't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it happened. There is no insurance. You don't get your money back. Loss is a loss. So that uncertainty is your constant companion. And you have to be aware of that. This is something that you expose yourself to willingly, and that is causing you stress. Even when you think, oh, I'm okay with that, your nervous system might think completely something else. And then the unpredictability is really about the complexity and the randomness of events in the market. So that even if you gather good data and you do your analysis, you still can never fully anticipate how things will play out. Just like, with black swan events, some they're rare, but they are unpredictable and they have a massive impact. Just look at COVID, for example, right? It's sudden and you could never even think of, okay, something like this might happen. So this unpredictability is a reflection of the chaotic nature of the market. So the outcomes are not only uncertain, but they are also very hard to anticipate because there are simply a lot of different moving parts that influence it. So that unpredictability of the market means that even if you feel very confident in your strategy and in your trade, and you have done all the work to prepare and to make your perfect plan, the outcome is still out of your control. The results that you had yesterday do not guarantee the same results today. And if you had 3 good trades, it doesn't mean that the fourth one will be good. Everything is like random, and you cannot base your future results based on the past, whether we're talking about losses or profits, because a lot of times we get overconfident when we have good trades, right, or good week. It's like we sort of expect, okay, next day will be good too. I had a good week. But the same applies to losses. If you have bad week in your mind, like you had negative trades, and if you interpret it as a bad week, you might be expecting that you will be losing again. And that is something that I'm going to talk next, because those expectations, they are inside of you, and they also creating pressure. These are internal pressures that you experience, and it all has to do with how you react on what is going on in front of you, how you react mentally, emotionally, but also physically. So how your body from a physical perspective and your nervous system is reacting to what's in front of you. And this is really where things get tricky. So you have this external chaos of the market, and it triggers your internal responses. It triggers your fear, anxiety, doubt, and can become really overwhelming, making it really difficult for you to focus, making it difficult to be disciplined and making rational decisions. So you have this constant swings between stress, overconfidence, and exhaustion. And that clouds your judgment, and it makes really leads you to making impulsive actions and sometimes even missing opportunities. So we know that we cannot control the market, right? I think we all can agree on that. As retail traders, we are not powerful enough to control the market, right? We also cannot control the external circumstances. You know, we cannot control some report coming out or some geopolitical crisis from happening. So the only thing that we can really navigate is those internal pressures. Now, if you don't do that, you start becoming unpredictable, just as a market itself. And as you might have already experienced in your trading, the results could be catastrophic, because you find yourself fighting against the market, against your own emotions, against your own decisions, and it will completely derail your progress, because you will be repeating the same mistakes. You'll get stuck in that loop of stress and frustration. So the message that we get as traders is just plan the trade, right? Plan the trade and then trade a plan. And it should be fairly easy. That's pretty simple. I'm just going to plan my trade and then go in there and just trade it, right? You would say it's pretty simple, isn't it? I think the message, like I thought it was pretty simple message, should be fairly easy. But the problem is you're stuck in the triangle. You're stuck in that maze that is keeping your focus away from your plan. You're in the middle of it, trying to stay afloat and trying to deal with those forces that are pulling you apart. And sometimes you completely lose sight of what is it that you are seeing in front of you on the screen, because your head is talking to you. Your previous losses, your fears, anxiety, you feel something coming up, you feel all these emotions, and sometimes they take over. And later on, you're like, what just happened? I don't even know why I was doing that. It's like someone takes over your brain and starts clicking the mouse. And you lose money and you go like, why did I just do that? Right? So when you get faced with all of these triggers, all this pressure, external, internal, and that freedom of choice, you are faced with those triggers, your trading plan goes out the window. And you're not thinking about your trading plan anymore because you're not thinking rationally. You are reacting. You're not responding to anything. You are reacting. You're not deciding, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's this action reaction. You're becoming very impulsive. So to deal with those pressures, most traders, to solve this problem, start looking for new solutions, right? So they go right back into that freedom part, because you have that freedom to decide what to do. So you're like, okay, I got to solve this. I can't stand these triggers. I can't stand this pressure anymore. I got to change something. So the very first thing that most traders are trying to change is the strategy, or adding a new indicator, introducing new variable into this whole mix that brings you to square one. Because now you've changed your strategy, you feel like you are changing something, so you're excited. You're like, oh my God, now this is going to be good. You put more attention and more focus on the new strategy, but now you have to realize now you're starting back from scratch. While nothing has changed about your internal and external triggers, they're still there and they will still put pressure on you. You're just introduced a new variable into this whole mix. And after working with traders for so long, they have one thing in common. Do you know what it is? It's not very different from what we normally do in life. They try to solve this problem by controlling, whether it's controlling the market, the external circumstances, the uncertainty, the unpredictability, or their emotions. Because controlling emotions seems like the biggest thing, right? Like, I can't control my emotions, because we feel them and we see how we react to them. So we think this is it. It's the most tangible thing, the most tangible obstacle that I can call out. My emotions are the problem. So we're trying to control our emotions. But if you have been trading for a while now and still struggle with consistent profit, you probably know that that doesn't work, because you probably have tried to control emotions. Controlling the market doesn't work. Controlling their circumstances doesn't work. But I can tell you, controlling emotions doesn't work either, because, and the most people actually don't realize that it is even impossible to control emotions. We can control the triggers that cause the emotions. So the way that traders try to control emotions is by suppressing them. And sometimes you will hear people saying, you know, if I could only trade like this emotionless robot, everything would be good. The moment that you start suppressing your emotions, it just backfires. So what you see is that you might be trading disciplined for a while, but then that one day you go on tilt, something happens, you get triggered, and now you have consolidated all these emotions there, and it is just one drop too much, and you explode, and you go on tilt, and then you lose everything. So long term, the solution is not working. So when you realize that all these triggers, whether these are from the market, from your environment, whether these are your internal triggers, are causing you mental, emotional, and physical pressure, you will understand why most traders feel overwhelmed or exhausted emotionally, and sometimes even physically, and cannot trade with discipline consistently. Because when you are exhausted, it's just harder to stick to your trading plan, to manage your risk, to make rational decision. And things really get worse if you are not aware of what is really going on. If you're just falling back into like, I'm going to change my strategy, I'm going to get a new indicator, I'm going to just listen to someone else, let me just watch a few YouTube. This guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. And you start trying to not solve the problem, but going to square one. So if you're not aware what's going on, it's not going to get better, but it's almost impossible to handle the situation if you are not prepared how to handle those triggers or what they even are. How is it that they trigger you? Because you will simply keep reacting out of your automatic responses, out of fear, anxiety, doubt. All these things will be there in the mix, no matter what strategy you trade. So by now you might be thinking, okay, so what do I do with this? Right? Like the first step to recognize is to change the situation is to recognize that you are the most important factor in your success. You have the power to change something. It's inside, not outside. You hold the key. And you will see a lot of times success to trading is blah, blah, blah. The success to trading is everyone has different idea about success to trading because there's a lot of different things that contribute to your success. But the true key is you. You hold the key because you are the one who has to deal with those forces. And if you cannot control those forces, because you can't, the only thing that you can control is you. So you need to start here. And I'm going to give you a few principles that will help you on your way. The first thing is focus on integrity and self-acceptance. Integrity is such an important factor in life, but also in trading. And unfortunately, it starts to become very rare. I hear people constantly saying they cannot trust anyone. And in trading, they have been burned so many times that they don't even know anymore, like who to trust, who to follow, who says really the right thing, right? So it's the integrity makes you feel like if you don't have the integrity, which is basically trusting yourself, now you're uncertain about everything. And you are already uncertain about the market and what is going to happen. So when you don't build your own integrity, that's going to be worse. Integrity is about keeping the word to yourself. It's about always deciding in your best interest. What is your best interest in every single situation? Because if you cannot keep the word to yourself, if you cannot choose for yourself, how can you feel confident? If you know, like, I'm saying A, but I'm going to do B, your confidence level is going to be not simply gone. It's not going to be there because if you cannot trust yourself, what is your next step? How do you know? Like you can make a plan, but you cannot trust you're going to follow it. And self-acceptance plays a huge role in this process because we know that mistakes will happen. We want mistakes to happen to show us what is the right way. Are we going the right way or do we have to adjust somewhere? So mistakes is not something we need to avoid. Mistakes is something we need to welcome because it's like a road sign telling us, no, you're going the wrong way. You gotta align, you gotta adjust. So when you accept yourself that, okay, I'm going to be making mistakes, and that's okay, that's actually really good, you gain that confidence that making decisions that serve you and your long-term success is actually what you need to focus on instead of trying to focus on someone else's telling you what to do. When you accept yourself, you will stop looking for external validation from other people. You'll be able to trust yourself much more, and this will keep you grounded while you're trading. The second thing is preparation. And I'm sure that this is not, a discovery of like, we have to prepare for everything. Every person who is performing at some sort of higher level in fact, not even a high level, just performing, needs to prepare, because the better preparation, the better the performance. And preparing for the chaos and the pressures that you know you will be experiencing in the market, that's like the basics, really. Without it, you cannot thrive, because the conditions are going to take you out of the game. So you have to prepare with dealing with uncertainty. So even though you don't have all the knowledge and all the clarity regarding your outcomes, how is it going to end, you still can plan for different possibilities, right? You can look at different scenarios and prepare to plan and plan to prepare for them. Because the market will always be unpredictable, and you can prepare for that by managing your internal states, your emotions, your thoughts, even your physical responses. You can prepare for that. This is why emotional resilience and mental clarity are so critical to your success. This is where your mindset skills, the basic mindset skills, are coming in, because they will allow you to remain calm, to make rational decisions, even when the market is moving against you, not the way that you hoped for. And this is the way how you will be able to regulate your emotions, not control your emotions, but to regulate your emotions, handle stress, regulate your thoughts. This all plays a critical role in your success, because it's not just about following the market, it's also about following yourself. How well you manage your mental and your emotional fitness is just as important as your trading strategy. The next one is always choose what serves you best. Remember, in trading, you have the freedom. You will always have choice. And sometimes the choice is not to take the trade. You have the freedom to make your decisions. In fact, you have that freedom the very first day when you start trading. The reason why you don't get the success you want is because you are not ready to handle that freedom. So the important question to ask yourself is, what is it that serves me best? And I can tell you that from how we have learned in our life, what serves you best in life, it's not always the same as what serves you best in trading. Just to give you an example, if you ask someone or if you tell someone, I just got a job, I am a trader now, and I will be losing money, people will think you're crazy, because normally when you get a job, you're supposed to get paid, right? So in trading, taking losses that are part of your plan is your best interest. In life, taking losses, most of us have learned losing money is not a good thing. So if you don't make that mindset shift, that switch, and this is just one example of a mindset shift that you need to make as a trader, because things are working differently in market conditions, and choosing your best interest looks different in trading than in your daily life. And making those decisions in trading based on your values and on your goals, not on the pressures that you get or the fears, that's where that bridge needs to come. And sometimes those decisions might feel very uncomfortable. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we will do anything to end that discomfort. We will do anything to start to get back to what we know. That's why trading is such a beautiful domain that helps you grow, because you're exposing yourself to pretty much uncomfortable environment all the time. And that means that you're getting out of your comfort zone. That means that every time you feel uncomfortable out of your comfort zone, you're actually making a step towards growing, which I personally find very inspiring, and I'm very passionate about that part of trading, that it always challenges you to become a better trader, to become a better person, to make step in your growth process. So important thing is to have the clarity, what is the best interest in trading and what is it in life, and be very clear about those boundaries. Building mental discipline, that is what trading requires. Discipline, a lot of times people talk, I'm not disciplined. We're talking about mental discipline here, because this is really about controlling your triggers. We can talk about controlling yourself, but it's about controlling the triggers and building in, I call it like, one moment of pause between when something happens outside of you, before you start reacting on the automatic pilot to it. Building a little moment where you have the ability to say, how do I want to respond to this? Or do I even want to respond to this? It really begins, the discipline begins with building the ability to directing your focus towards what you truly want, towards the direction you want to go, instead of focusing on what you are trying to avoid. Like, I don't want to lose. I don't want to go back to my job anymore. I don't want to feel like this. This is where all the survival mechanisms start kicking in, your fear, your anxiety, your impulse-driven decisions. So, but when you focus on the process of trading, when you focus on, this is my plan, this is what I want to do, and you keep your focus on there, it's much easier to manage the risk, to manage yourself throughout the process, and have your mind clear, calm, and really focusing on what is in your control. So your thoughts influence your emotions. Your thoughts also influence your chemical reactions in your body. And that has a direct impact on your ability to think clearly and make rational decisions. That's why it is so important to work on your mindset and your mindset skills, to understand how your mindset influences your emotions. What are the triggers that are triggering you, and what is it that they trigger? So that you can truly understand what is impacting you and your physical responses. Like, why do you suddenly feel stressed? Why do you get, your heart is racing? Like, what is behind it? This is really key to gaining control over your actions. And rather than being reactive, start being responsive. And the last but not least is rise to ownership. Taking the responsibility is huge. Not blaming the markets, not blaming the tools, not blaming anyone else for your outcomes. I like to see responsibility as the ability to respond. Again, not reactive, but responsive. And trading requires that mindset, so that you take the responsibility for your decisions, for your actions, for your results, because it's about how you show up mentally, emotionally, and strategically to your trading desk. And this is where the real freedom in trading comes from, because you cannot have the true freedom if you don't take that responsibility, because then you don't have that control. You will always be the victim of the circumstances. You cannot have the freedom without accepting this responsibility. Your freedom depends on your ability to choose wisely. And wise decisions in trading are defined by whether they are in your best interest and not whether they are right. Remember this. So take a screenshot if you want to. The right decision in trading, because a lot of traders are asking, what is the right decision? The right decision in trading is the one that is in your best interest as a trader. Decision that is loving to you. So here we are. What I've learned on my trading journey is that navigating to consistency and profitability in the market isn't really about mastering the market. It's about mastering yourself and mastering the triggers and navigating those forces that are pressing you, that are pulling you apart at the same time. Navigating those forces without being absorbed by them so that you can stay grounded within yourself with integrity and aligned with who you are, with your own values, with what you want. When you focus on integrity and treat yourself with that respect and truly love and accept yourself, this is when you start choosing what serves your best interest in any situation. And then you can build that mental muscle to always focus on what you want and then truly take the ownership of your decisions. This is how you will stop fighting yourself, stop fighting against the market, and understand that you are just on that journey for the pleasure of making the journey, in fact, not just for some kind of end result. And you will be finally able to go from that living just trying to stay afloat and survive another day in the market, fighting, to thriving. And when you do that, you will see the impact not just in your trading, but in your life. And that's very important because you probably have heard it many times, is how you live is how you trade. And you cannot get there if you keep getting lost in the maze, if you keep being stuck in that triangle. And you cannot get there without mastering those triggers I was talking about. Because if you don't know how to navigate through these forces, they will keep distracting you from your plan and eventually from your goal. So think about it. The market is designed to trigger your emotions. Just look at this. You look at the chart, there's cost price movements, there is risk, there's uncertainty, unpredictability, all the news, social media, this chaos just goes on, and you're right in front of it. You sit there and you let this all come at you. You're exposing your nervous system to this never-ending stream of data and stress. Fun, right? Why wouldn't you love trading? So if you don't know, if you don't even realize how you are getting triggered on the inside, how are you going to manage it? You will simply act impulsively. There's almost no way to be able to manage it, and no strategy or indicator is going to help you. You will be jumping into trades, hoping for big profits or cutting a price. I mean, this whole thing is just going to be continuing. That's why the success rate of traders is so low, because most traders are not aware of what's coming at them. And because they try to control emotions and not the triggers. They try to control the symptoms and not the root cause. So instead of wasting your energy trying to fight off all these pressures, just go to the source and focus on mastering those triggers. Because when you make this one simple shift, you will see that everything changes, just like it did for me and many other traders that I've coached over the years. So if you can get just one thing out of this, stop trying to control your emotions. For a long time, I've tried to control my emotions, I tell you. It never worked for me. And I know that I spoke to countless traders over the years, and I've seen that it doesn't work for them either. So if you want really to change something, learn to master the triggers, because that's what changes everything. Trading, your trading results, but also your life transforms. Whether it's with your partner, with your kids, in your work, you will notice the difference really, really quickly. Because mastering the triggers equals being in control of your trading decisions. You will go from reacting to responding. And you will actually be able to decide, to have that moment to decide what is it that you want to do without your triggers dictating your every move. And now that's true freedom. So to master those triggers, first of all, you need to understand what exactly and how exactly the market is triggering inside of you. What is it that, what are those conditions you're working in, and how that impacts you, so that you know what drives your impulsive decisions. What is it that drives those emotions and your overreactions to the market? Then you identify your personal triggers, and you can connect the dots between the market and you and see, okay, this is how it's working. This is where the market is pulling my triggers, right? And then you can, to do that, the best tool to start is to journal. You can do this, doesn't matter how good writer you are. You can even record yourself. It's not, the purpose is not to write the best book ever, but this is just to spot the patterns. So write about your emotions, write about how you, like when you, before trading, how you enter your trading day, what is that's happening in your head? And then how does this changes when you are actually in front of the screen? And then the third, learn the skills to manage the triggers, meaning the reactions to them, so that you can be less reactive and more responsive. And those are the mental skills that will help you to manage your responses, even your physical responses. This is what will help you manage your emotions or regulate your emotions and develop emotional immunity, I call it. So you will still get triggered, but you will be able to regulate it because you will be expecting, knowing exactly what's coming and what to do about it. And it will help you build the resilience to market fluctuations. So then you can follow your plan instead of throwing it away into the bin as soon as your emotions hit. So this is what you can do. If you want some more guidance with it, I have reopened my do-it-yourself, but not alone program. This program is designed to give you results already in the first 7 days. I said do it yourself, but not alone, is because I'm there if you have any questions. I know that normally do it yourself is you buy a program and then you have to do everything yourself, but you get access to my private Facebook community where if you have questions, you can always reach out to me there and I help you. I guide you through that process, and you will also meet like-minded traders so you can also see what their experiences are and learn from them. So you will learn to master the triggers. So understand what drives your impulsive decisions, basically learn how to what is triggering you on the inside, identify your personal triggers, and then break free from those emotional cycles. You will learn also the key mental skills, 7 mental skills that are crucial for this process and for your trading success, and you will be able to put them into practice to regulate your emotions, develop your resilience, and so you can maintain that clarity that is needed. And master your mindset. So you will, like I was talking about making those mindset shifts, you'll be able to implement those essential mindset shifts so that you can align your thinking and actions with what it takes to trade profitably, as opposed to how you achieve success in life. You will be able to identify even your beliefs that are keeping you stuck in that cycle and then learn proven strategies to overcome them. And you can all do, on top of that, I give you also a bonus with a toolkit with a lot of different tools that will help you on your way, mental strategies, and anything that you will need on your way to work with the triggers and learning how to manage them. I have also included an additional 3-part masterclass as an additional bonus that will help you with alignment. Because as I mentioned, alignment and grounding with yourself, who you are as a person, and what you want to achieve with your trading is absolutely important for keeping your sanity and well-being overall. So all this, you can go to my website, aheadcoach.com. So by the way, this masterclass is also not available anywhere else. This is the only way you can get that, by signing up for my for the Trading Mindset Mastery journey. And all this you can get now for just $349. You also get a 30-day money back guarantee. If you purchase this program, and I know that a lot of traders got burned, there's no trust, like there's so many different solutions, right? I don't want you to worry. I'm taking all the risk because I really want to help you get out of that cycle. So if you purchase this program from me and then you go through the program, you do the assignments, I do want you to do the work. So you do the assignment and you say, this is not for me. You have 30 days to do that. As I said, after the first 7 days, it's designed basically to show you already results after 7 days, but you have 30 days to try it out. And if you did the work and you say, okay, I did the work, it doesn't work for me, I don't like it, I don't like the sound of your voice or whatever, no questions asked, you will get your money back. So I'm taking all the risk. And you can get it by going to tradingmindsetmastery.com or by scanning the code, tradingmindsetmastery.com, or you go to aheadcoach.com. This is the easier way, it gets you right there. And I hope to see you there and welcome you in my private community. So remember, going from surviving to thriving, whether it's in life or in trading, without mastering the triggers, it's gonna be a challenge to get there. This is how you can find me if you want to reconnect, ask more questions, or I have a podcast, Confidence in Trading. You can always hear there's a bi-weekly episode I'm releasing, and I share a lot of different free tools on aheadcoach.com. So if you just want to check it out, please feel free. And let's stay connected. You can always text me at 941-275-6137. You can take a screenshot of that. And I really look forward to hear from you. I hope this was helpful. And we have 2 minutes for questions, but you can also always reach out to me with questions. So I hope this was helpful, guys. I really wish that you have, that you have taken at least one nugget from this to get you into the right mind space, to know that trading requires a little bit different type of work than you might have thought at the beginning, especially if you are stuck, that it's going to be easy, but you have to make it easy. You have to stop fighting and you have to do the thing that is going to make it easier for you. So thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, David. And I'm gonna hand over